opinions expressed in the following program are not necessarily those of Shaw Cable Systems or of the station. Through our access policy, we provide the opportunity for community groups and individuals to express their points of view.
Welcome to your Fourth Line Hockey Show. I'm your host, Willie Plouffe. We're on the road today. Actually, we're not on the road. We're at Rural Sports Shop. Once again, always at Rural Sports Shop, having a good time. Usually I have my co-host here with Gerald Hasbeek with me. Gerald's not here. We got manager Kyle Hunton. Kyle, how are you today?
Pretty good, Willie. How are you?
I'm doing great. Today's show is a good show talking all about equipment. You know, people buy so many equipment, hockey gear, they buy the wrong stuff.
Yeah, that is pretty common. A lot of times people will come in, they don't know how equipment's supposed to fit. They sometimes buy too big or too small, and ill-fitting equipment's a quick way to lower your performance. Yeah, today we're going to have a guy come in, like we're going to Nicky Cooper, who works there. We're also going to be a hockey model. We're going to dress him right from head to toe, right from the gear, from bottom, the shin pads, the pants, skates, owl pads, helmet, everything. It's so important, hey, Kyle, that we have the proper gear that fits when you play hockey. Absolutely it is, Willie. If you're wearing equipment that doesn't fit you properly, number one, you're not going to be comfortable. If you're wearing ill-fitting equipment, number two, you're not going to perform very well. And number three, and probably most importantly, is the safety issue. If you're wearing equipment that doesn't fit you properly, you leave yourself more open to injuries and taking a bad hit or falling and hurting yourself. So many times that, you know, individuals or kids are handing equipment down from their bigger brothers and or sisters, whoever, it's passed down from top to bottom, and that's what ends up happening. They end up wearing the gear that, you know, it's kind of outdated, it's kind of beat up a little bit. It still works, but it doesn't fit. And one of the most important things about playing hockey is you have to be comfortable when you're on the ice. Absolutely. I mean, a lot of people worry about what equipment they're wearing, you know, the brand or the model, but fit is paramount. If you don't have equipment that fits you properly, you're not going to enjoy your experience out on the ice. Today's show is going to be great, talking about, you know, I was a newbie parent one time. I played some hockey. We're just going to make sure that, you know, everyone, this show is all about, you know, awareness, making sure that you have the proper gear that fits you and how to put it on properly. Once you get a little bit older, Kyle, different players put their gear on differently, but we're going to do the standard type of when you get dressed. Pretty informational. That's absolutely right. I mean, as players get older and they develop their own styles, they understand what's more comfortable for them and how they want their equipment to fit. But for the little guys and for new parents who aren't super familiar with how to fit equipment in the sport, one thing that we really like to focus on here is making sure that the kids are getting the right fitting equipment. As I said before, you can't stress enough the safety issue. Hockey's a high contact, high impact sport, and you need proper fitting equipment in order to play it properly. And, you know, and we always talk the stories about there. I'm going to share a story I thought was pretty sweet when, you know, I was playing hockey and my dad, you know, sometimes things got a little bit tough. I had my brother's gear. He's like 5 years older than me. He'd be cutting down the shin pad, make sure it fits me. And I just like, you know, come on, we can't go find myself. Until we met at Rural Sports Shop, it was all a little bit different. Oh, I had the same things growing up too. I mean, every once in a while, my dad would come home with a piece of equipment that wouldn't fit great, so my mom would get out the sewing kit and stitch up one of the straps, or, you know, we just kind of make it work. And, you know, these days with how fast people are getting and how the kids are getting bigger, you know, that's something that's just dangerous to do right now.
Life is all about chances. Made, given, and taken. Chances missed. And chances that change everything. Chances to try, to fail, and then try again. Chances to grow. Chances to change. Chances to learn, teach, lead. Chances. It's all about what you do with them. Boys and Girls Clubs of Winnipeg. Donate. Check us out. Make the call.
Pants, pants, pants. I am folding the pants. The pants are long. Do they go on my head? Do they? Do the pants go on my head? No. They go on.
Everyday moments can become teaching moments because learning starts long before school does. Give your child the start they need at bornlearning.org.
Let's go, let's go! Oh! Great job, great job. We got one play, so let's make this count.
I touched the ball before it went out, Coach.
Come on, Alex, the ref did not call that. It's the championship game.
I touched it. It's their ball.
Don't foul them when they inbound.
Alex. Good call.
Sportsmanship. Pass it on.
I'm a runner and I love to run. Amanda's my friend. Arthritis means she can't always run, so I'm doing it for her, to fund the quest to find the cure. You can take part. You can run, you can walk, you can trek in some pretty amazing places. The Arthritis Society makes it simple. Amanda makes it important. Check our website. How far would I go? I'd go anywhere to fight arthritis.
Welcome back to Fourth Line Hockey Show. I'm your host, Willie Plouffe. Once again, back at World Sports Shop. We are here with Nicky Cooper. Nicky, how are you today, buddy?
Good. Glad to be here.
Attaboy, glad to hear Nicky here. And of course, we're here with Kyle. We're going to be sizing up Nicky about the gear right from top to bottom here. Kyle's going to get him suited up. So everybody out there, and watching the show, it's all about making sure that you put the proper gear on and how to dress as a hockey player. Female or male, doesn't matter. Got to be able to put the right gear on. Kyle, I'm going to let you take it away. Here we go, buddy.
Sounds good, Willie. So what we're going to start off talking about here, and I'm just going to move these so you can see, is something that gets overlooked a lot, and that's the proper skate sock. There are a couple of different options when you're talking about socks you can wear inside your skates. This particular one here is a Bauer Elite sock. What a skate sock will offer over your general cotton sock is a seamless insole, a seamless inside, so you're not going to have that seam rubbing against your foot. They're very well ventilated. They'll be moisture wicking, so they'll take the moisture from your foot to the outside of the garment. And what this particular sock offers as well is a Kevlar weave through it to protect against the possibility of having a skate blade or a stick blade cutting the back of your leg there. So that's an excellent safety feature in these kinds of socks. Moving on, the next thing we're going to look at are shin pads and how to fit shin pads properly. Nick, you want to throw one of these on? So when we're talking about fitting shin guards, there's a couple of things that you want to look at. First and foremost, you want to make sure that your knee is sitting right inside the center of the knee cup here. When Nick's got it all geared up here, bend your knee, Nick. So you can see his knee sitting right inside of the knee cup. That's going to give you optimal protection. Also, you want to look at the length of the shin pad. Now, the best way to tell is to put the shin pad on with your skates. I know some players like to go tongues in. Some players are a little more styling. They like the tongues out. Depending on where you like the tongue of your skate is going to dictate kind of the length that you want on the shin pads. But primarily a good rule of thumb is around where the top of the tongue of your shoe is going to sit.
You need shin pads, of course, but one thing we cannot forget that Nicky's not sporting is the jock. We got to make sure we have the proper size jock on because you never want to get nailed there, or a Jill. The girls also make sure they have a Jill, right? Nicky's not sporting that for sure. We know he's going to be sporting a jock, but we're going to go from there. Kyle, take it away again, big guy.
All right, next up, Nick's going to want to pop on his hockey pants. So when we're talking about fit on hockey pants, when you have the pants on and done up comfortably around the waist, as Nick's doing right here, the thing you want to look at is how the pant interacts with the shin guard. Typically, if you're not wearing shin pads, you're going to want the pant around the middle to top of your kneecap, just so that it's not going to get in the way and interfere with your shin pads. Middle of the kneecap's good for those growing guys. It gives you a little bit of room to grow. Top of the kneecap if you stop growing. Nick, you can bend your knee all right there. It's not interfering with the shin pad at all. You see the top kind of pops up there, but if you've got your hockey sock on, it's going to hold that in.
Kyle, very important, right, with the pants. You see a lot of young kids wearing their brother's pants or sister's pants that are way too big, and they're coming down over here. That's a no-no, right? You can't.
Absolutely.
You can't bend your knees.
Absolutely. If your pants are too low, you're not going to be able to bend your knees. You're not going to be able to skate in a very comfortable or efficient manner.
Awesome.
So moving on from the pants, I think next up we've got the shoulder pads.
Nick, you're doing a great job, buddy.
So there's a lot of common misconceptions when it comes to fitting shoulder pads. One thing in particular that a lot of people put way too much emphasis on is how low the shoulder pad is going. The primary objective of a shoulder pad is to protect, you guessed it, the shoulders. So the thing you want to look at when you're looking at sizing on a shoulder pad is where the shoulders fit inside the shoulder cups. Ideally, the proper fitting shoulder pad is his shoulder fitting right in the center of that shoulder cup. If his shoulder's sitting too high or too low, then you run the risk of the shoulder pads sliding or shifting if he's going into the boards and his shoulder not receiving the optimal protection that you get in the cup. When you're looking at the length of the shoulder pad, just about every shoulder pad these days comes with a removable belly pad. So if your shoulder pad's a little long and interfering with your pants, you can take that off. If you've got a little bit of a gap, you can put it back on and it'll protect you right there from getting sticks or possibly a puck in the gut.
Once again, Kyle, like the shoulder pads, you see it, and I keep saying that because you see it all the time, where guys or girls are wearing shoulder pads that are way too big. You got the shoulder sitting right here, the pad's sitting right here, and that's not protecting anything. That's going to cause, you know, damage in the long run.
Absolutely, that's 100% correct. If your shoulder's not sitting within that cap, you run all sorts of risks of shoulder injuries. I know from personal experience, I've had a couple. There's some bones sticking out there that I won't show you right now, but that came from an ill-fitting pair of shoulder pads and me going into the boards awkwardly.
Like the cap inside the cup, that's something, CC, right? Just
Absolutely.
Remember, right inside there, that's a good call.
So Nick, you want to throw on the elbow pads? One nice feature about Nick's base layer gear he's wearing is it's got some silicone sticky grips so that it holds on to your elbow pads. That's something you always want to look for, just so your elbow pad's not sliding around on your undergear. So when you're looking to fit an elbow pad, number one, similar to the shin guard and the shoulder pad, you want that elbow to be sitting right inside the center of the shoulder, or the elbow cup there. Beyond that, you want to take a look at the top and make sure that the top of the shoulder pad is not interfering too much with the elbow pad here. If there's too much overlap, it's not going to be comfortable. You're not going to have a great amount of movement. Conversely, you want to make sure it's coming pretty close here so you don't have a big gap where you could be open to slashes or cross checks. When you're looking at the bottom of the elbow pad, it's a good idea to throw on a pair of gloves to see what your gap's going to be looking like there. So as you can see here with Nick, there's minimal gap between the elbow pad and the hockey glove, which means he's going to be getting maximum protection in this area without the glove interfering with the elbow pad.
Back, you know, defensemen, some tricks of the trade of defensemen. You kids, you don't do this, but some guys are playing junior that a lot of guys actually, you know, you get some great hacks. They look where the break is right here, and they give you a nice two-hander right in front of the net. Usually the gloves back in the day weren't this long, and the elbow pads never came down, so there's always room to put a good hack in there. That's a no-no nowadays.
Absolutely. And then the last thing that you want to look at while you're talking about gloves is you want to make sure you're able to hang on to and grip a hockey stick. So whenever you're trying on gloves, grab a stick off the wall, make sure you're able to hold on to it well, and it's comfortable in your hands. Another important piece of equipment is the neck guard. So every kid wants to make sure that they have a proper fitting neck guard before they step out on the ice. The primary function of a neck guard is to protect your neck from any skate or stick cuts that may result. So they are all reinforced to protect against that. So if you're looking for fit on a neck guard, you want it to be nice and comfortable around the neck without being too loose. This is a good fit on Nick. It's not choking him. It's not hanging off him. It's sitting exactly where he wants it to sit for optimal protection.
You know, like, it's funny, in Canada, there's some rules down south that kids don't wear neck guards, and that's amazing how they don't wear them, because, you know, a stick can come up, a skate can come up, man, you cut that jugular, you're in big trouble.
Absolutely.
You can't see Nick on helmets. Nick's not putting a helmet on, but when he has a helmet on and a cage, of course, until he plays junior and that, we have to have the old mouth guards, right? Two types of mouth guards we have here is the one where, boom, you know, it doesn't tie your helmet. They're boil mouth guards, and this one here also, you know, you can clip on your helmet so you don't lose it. I know how many times my little guy's lost his mouth guard. This way they're not going to lose it. Mouth guard is always important too, right, Kyle?
Absolutely. Mouth guards are incredibly important to protect your teeth and to protect you from impact of jarring your jaw. As you kind of touched on, Willie, all mouth guards these days are boil and bite, which means you boil them in hot water, you pop them into your mouth, and they mold right around your teeth for a very comfortable fit.
Pants, pants, pants. I am folding the pants. The pants are long. Do they go on my head? Do they? Do the pants go on my head? No. They go on.
Everyday moments can become teaching moments because learning starts long before school does. Give your child the start they need at bornlearning.org.
Come on, I haven't got all day here. Next! While we're still young. Hey. What?
Great sandwich. Thanks. Compliments. Pass them on.
Get out of here.
Hi.
Hi. Patience. Pass it on. A message from the Foundation for a Better Life.
I'm a runner and I love to run. Amanda's my friend. Arthritis means she can't always run, so I'm doing it for her, to fund the quest to find the cure. You can take part. You can run, you can walk, you can trek in some pretty amazing places. The Arthritis Society makes it simple. Amanda makes it important. Check our website. How far would I go? I'd go anywhere to fight arthritis.
I'm here to teach you about playing safe.
Wesley lost his hand in a machinery accident. Now he gives Play Safe presentations at schools to warn kids that accidents can happen anywhere.
Play safe! Yeah! Play safe!
You don't need a media monkey to make healthy choices. Think for yourself. A message from Concerned Children's Advertisers.
Welcome back to the Fourth Lane Hockey Show. We are here back with Nikki Cooper and Kyle from Royal Sports Shop. We're going to be looking at now the proper sizing of skates and the insoles of skates. It's very important, Kyle, to make sure you have proper size skates because big part of the game.
100%. Of all the pieces of equipment that are going to affect your game, skates is going to definitely be the #1 most important. When we're talking about fitting skates, there are 3 main things you really want to focus on. #1 is making sure that your heel is properly fit and locked into your skate. When you're talking about locking in a heel, essentially what we want to lock in is this joint right back here. That's called your subtalar joint. I'm sure everybody's heard the term ankle bender before. If you look at your ankle joint, there's not a lot of side-to-side movement there. What ankle benders are actually experiencing is their heel not being locked properly into the skate and having rollover there. This joint is designed naturally to provide some natural cushioning while you're heel striking while humans walk or run. While you're skating, you're not heel striking. It's an unnatural movement. So what we need to have is that heel joint locked securely into place in your skate. #2, what you want to make sure is you've got the right size of skate. So that we're talking about lengthwise here. For a full-grown adult, that could be when you're standing up, your toes are just brushing the end of the skate. That way, when you bend your knees and you get into your skating stance, your foot will contract and give you a little bit of room for comfort, but not so much room that your foot's going to slide around and get blisters. For the kids, we understand you're going to need a little bit of room for growth there. So what we like to do is check the back with a pencil. If a pencil can snugly fit down the back of your skate, you got enough room for growth, but it's not too big that you're going to experience a sloppy fitting skate. The reason we use a pencil is that a pencil width is exactly one size on a skate fitting Brannock. The third thing that I talked about is you want to make sure that the instep is fit properly. When I talk about instep, I mean the distance between the heel of your foot and the top of your foot up here. Proper fitting instep is the 2 sides of the skate fitting flush with the top of your foot. So what I'm going to do is get Nick to throw this skate on here, just to illustrate what I mean by the instep fit.
And that's what Cal talked about earlier. Different players like to put either the tongue underneath or the tongue out.
So yeah, we can see that Nick's shin pads work really well with this skate. On this one here, Nick, I'm going to get you just to pull the tongue right out so we can see the top of your foot. You may need to pull up the shin pad a bit. So when we're talking about instep, the best way to measure that is to run a pencil from the bottom of his, from this part of his foot right on up, and make sure that his foot is as flush as it can be against the pencil with the sides of the skate. This will protect against lace bite or any undue pressure from the tops of your skates or from your laces being tied up.
Well, Cal, that is great. Lace bite, something like that, you know, that's something, you know, people don't know about. Like, you know, they tie skates pretty tight to somebody and the laces are cutting in. That's a great way to show and measure it up.
Absolutely. Lace bite's one of those things that could really make your skating experience incredibly unpleasant. So you really want to focus on instep. That's something that gets overlooked an awful lot.
Need to be comfortable. Need to be comfortable. What about the pencil, the back there, in the back of the, you know, when you're leaning forward there?
Yeah, the pencil in the back.
Yeah.
You want your toes pressed right up against the front of the skate, and then you slide the pencil right back there so that you can touch the bottom of the skate, but you want it nice and snug in the back. So Nick's a growing boy here. We got the pencil right back there. It's snug. There's no wiggle room. So Nick's got about a size size worth of growth out of that skate, so it should last him for a couple of years or until he's done growing.
So if it's over a pencil, bigger than a pencil, thicker than a pencil, then it's too big of a skate for the kid.
Absolutely. If you've got more room than a pencil, you're looking at more than a full size room for growth. What you're going to experience there is what I was talking about as far as the heel not being supported. So you're going to end up being a bit of an ankle bender, quote unquote. And even more importantly, your foot's going to be moving around within the skate. So number one, that's going to cause friction. And friction leads to blisters, and blistering on your foot while you're skating can absolutely ruin your day. And even in conjunction with that, if your skate's not fitting properly and your foot's moving around inside it, you're not going to perform very well because you're not going to be getting a great fit out of your skate.
Now, how about Cal, when everyone also asks you, where are your toes? Some players like the toe scrunch, some players, like, is there anything that you need to know about where your toes should be for a proper fit? Obviously, the back of the boot, most important with a pencil and that,
yep.
But maybe some dudes got some pretty long toes, or what's happening?
Well, typically what we suggest, and there is some personal preference that comes into play here to a point, but when you're a full-grown adult and you're standing flat-footed in your skates, you want your toes just brushing the end of the skate. That way, as I said earlier, when you bend your knees, your feet will contract a little bit and your toes will pull off the end. So you'll have that little bit of room for comfort, but not so much room that your foot will be sliding around. Now, some guys do like a really tight fitting skate, so they do like their toes to be crunched up against the end. Some guys just can't handle that feeling of their toe brushing up against the end. So the next half size down where it's just off is usually okay. But if you're doing that and your foot's pulling away from the front of the skate, you're gonna wanna use the pencil test on yourself just to be sure that you've got the right size on your skate and it's not too big. One thing that gets overlooked an awful lot when you're sizing and fitting skates is the insole that you're using. We do carry a couple of different types of insoles here at Royal Sports. The first one I'll show you is just your basic insole. This comes within most skates. It's essentially just a piece of foam that's in there for comfort for the bottom of your foot. It doesn't really offer you any sort of support. The next one we're going to look at is a Cetus insole that's designed by Graf. The advantages to this insole is that they offer you a little bit more, or quite a bit more arch support and a very defined heel cup. So that can help to lock your foot and lock your heel into the back. The really important part, which makes this insole designed specifically for hockey and for skating, are the ridges here within the arch. While you're skating, your arch does flex on your foot. So what these ridges do is they allow for that natural flex to occur. So they're not going to hold your foot super rigid, but they will still support all of the small muscles within your foot to allow them to work in conjunction with your larger muscles. The advantage to an insole like this is it helps to reduce fatigue because your small muscles are working with your large muscles and your body is naturally being supported, so it adds stability as well. And the third and final insole that you can have a look at is the custom insole. This is what a custom insole looks like before it's been molded. The advantages to a custom insole is they will form completely custom to the bottom of your foot. So this one is what the product looks like before it's been molded. This here is your finished product after we've had it mold to the bottom of your foot. So what this does is it totally forms to the bottom of your foot. Best way to describe it, when you put your foot in your skates, you know these are your skates. They've got your foot already in the power position, so the position that your feet are in while you're skating. And when you step out onto the ice, you're already in that position, so it doesn't take that extra couple of strides to get going. You're immediately there. It will provide you with maximum support, maximum comfort, and maximum stability.
That's most important. That, you know, you want to be really comfortable when you have your boot on. When you have your skate on, I say boot. When you have your skate on, you want to make sure the insoles are fitting properly. You have the proper socks on, and your skates are most important part of the gear. If your feet aren't comfortable, it's like your walking shoes. They have to be sitting good.
Let's go, let's go! Oh! Great job, great job. We got one place, so let's make this count.
I touched the ball before it went out, Coach.
Come on, Alex, the ref did not call that. It's the championship game.
I touched it, it's their ball.
Don't foul them when they inbound. Alex. Good call.
Sportsmanship. Pass it on.
Life is all about chances. Made, given, and taken. Chances missed. And chances that change everything. Chances to try, to fail, and then try again. Chances to grow. Chances to change. Chances to learn. teach, lead. Chances. It's all about what you do with them. Boys and Girls Clubs of Winnipeg. Donate. Check us out. Make the call.
Welcome to Cardio Salsa Dance Exerciser. Hola, my name is Carmen Anastasia, and you are fat. That's right. So if you want to get into shape just by dancing, then I have a sexy salsa, samba, Latin cha-cha that you're going to love. So if you want to burn them calories up caliente style, then you know what to do, burritos.
What makes us human?
I think it's our ability to be kind. Being human, it's about caring.
Being generous.
Showing compassion.
Some of the animals who provide our food spend most of their life in cages so small they can barely move.
Being human means treating others well,
no matter who they are.
Help encourage the food industry to find a better way. Visit humanefood.ca.
All right, the next thing we're going to talk about is the latest innovation in hockey helmets, and that's the Bauer React helmet. The thing that makes this helmet so special and so much different from any other helmet out there is the suspended liner that they have built into here. What this liner helps to protect against is rotational force impact. All helmets will protect against direct force impact, which is basically that. So the helmet directly impacting either the boards or the ice. But what rotational force is more common in the contact game. That's a head colliding with somebody's shoulder, which happens a lot in body checks. So what this suspended liner does is it really helps to reduce the impact that the head ends up receiving from a rotational force impact. It also utilizes all the very best in foams and protection as far as shock distribution and impact protection go, and is a sleek looking helmet with a very easy to adjust system, which I'll show you right now on Nick. So when you want to adjust the helmet, you just pop up this little lever on the back. That'll help to adjust it lengthwise. And then the next thing you want to check is this dial on the back here. That'll help snug up this pad here under the back of his head. It's called an occipital lock because it locks into the occipital joint on the back of your head. So we'll get this on Nick. Easiest way to get a helmet to fit properly is to open it up, make it as big as it's going to get, pop it on your guy's head, and then just slide it in. Nick, let me know when that's comfortable. That's good? Then you pop the back snap into place, and then the next adjustment is the dial on the back. You want to make sure that you've got it snugged right up, nice and tight against the back of his head. When a helmet's on, you shouldn't have a whole lot of movement. It should be locked nicely onto his head so that it fits him perfectly. The best helmet out there is the helmet that offers the most protection, that fits your guy the very best. That's how you fit a helmet.
Well, Kyle, what a great show. I want to thank you for doing everything with us, guys. Manager Kyle here at Royal. What a great day it was today. We showed everybody here from the top to bottom on the gear, from the helmet, Nikki Cooper, our model helping out, from the shoulder pads, elbow pads, the pants, the shin pads. Most important, skates, you gotta be comfortable. Everybody out there, if you have any questions, make sure you ask somebody. Check on the internet, find out what fits. Make sure you have things that fit you properly, because hockey is most important. Kyle, I want to thank you for coming out, taking care of us guys here at Fourth Line Hockey Show.
No problem, Willie.
Nikki,
my pleasure.
Thank you for helping us out. And you know what? Next week we're gonna have some more interesting things. So tune in. I think we'll be talking to some Team Manitoba hockey players, Team Canada players. See you all next week.
The opinions expressed on the program you have just watched are not necessarily those of Shaw Cable Systems or of this station. Through our access policy, we provide the opportunity for community groups and individuals to express their points of view.